time for today's face-off on Fox Soul. Challengers Quan LX and Big Angry Adams ready to go blow by blow on those hot topics. Face-off on Fox Soul starts right now.
So sorry. All my people are getting attacked. The children. I don't understand. I'm so sorry. I wish I could do something, but I can't. I don't know what to do. I'll try everything. I promise.
Quanell, that was Selena Gomez, actress, performer, former Disney star, crying on social media about the deportation of Mexicans who were here unlawfully by the Trump administration. And Selena is giving the world, and I think it was sincere, I think it was genuine, I don't think she was acting, I think she felt the pain that she was evidencing, but she is giving the world exactly what the news media and the oligarchs who control the Democratic Party want us, the energy for people on the left to have, right? And the people in the middle. They want people upset, they want people crying, they want people feeling helpless. So there's no accountability about the conditions created by the Democratic Party. I say this, and it's easy to mistake me for a Republican or a friend of the Republican Party, but I don't think the Republicans want any accountability either. We had a clapback from Tom Homan, who is running the Border Patrol and the deportation efforts for Donald Trump and his administration. Do we have that clip, Matt?
Chance to see a video that has been going viral over the past hour or so. We're still working to clear it and show it. In fact, the Hollywood celebrity who posted it has now deleted it, I think because probably she faced a lot of backlash for it, noting even the New York Times and Fox News polls show that a majority of American respondents are in favor of deportations of criminals and gang members. She posted a video sobbing. She was crying in it. She said, "All my people are getting attacked," with the picture of a Mexican flag. Again, she has now taken that down. But what do you say to those who are out there saying that these are everyday people, these are families that are being attacked and dragged out of their homes? How do you respond to that?
I don't think we arrested any families. We've arrested public safety threats and national security threats, bottom line. And look, President Trump won the election on this one issue, securing our border and saving lives. What happened on our southern border last 4 years is the biggest national security threat this country's seen, at least in my lifetime, because we got over 2 million known gotaways. We got a 600% increase in sex trafficking. We got a record number of terrorists crossing the border on the terrorist watch list. We have 250,000 Americans die from fentanyl coming across the open border. We're going to do this job, and we're going to enforce the laws of this country. If they don't...
Okay, so Tom's point was that simply it is not true. Whereas we had Secretary Mayorkas for the last 4 years claiming there was no problem at the border. At the beginning of the administration, he claimed it was a secure border. He looked at the American people and lied, as possibly up to 20 million people came through across unlawfully, whereas the Donald Trump administration is acting proactively to secure the border, to limit, and I think there are problems on both sides of the ideological fence. But what we're seeing is a lot of people, there was a story about ICE went into Chicago and the news media jumped on it and everybody was talking about how abhorrent it was, social media and all. It turned out it wasn't ICE. It turned out it was Secret Service looking for a direct threat. Right now, people are celebrating I think it's the Honduran government is saying that she's going to kick American bases off. We saw the Colombian president very shortly refused to accept planes. But then Donald Trump made it very clear these are the sanctions I'm going to implement. Also a video of him running around with on his wife, allegedly with a transsexual prostitute. And he got quiet real quick, right? But right now, all we're seeing is murderers, rapists, violent felons, people on terror watch lists being deported. We are not seeing regular working, and I would tell you, I feel very strongly that people that have been here for decades, right, that were let in by both parties who ignored the problem so the rich could exploit the near slave labor. And these people have come here, they've worked hard, they have not been a drain on our entitlement programs, and they have not committed crimes, they should all be able to stay. We need to give them a pathway to citizenship. On the flip side, the people that came here and committed crimes, and I mean whether it's theft or DWI or murder, they don't have any right to be here, okay? And more importantly, people that come here in the last 4 years during the Biden administration, we were ignoring veterans, we were ignoring struggling, working American families, African American families, who were crushed by the spike in interest rates during the Biden administration, who couldn't pay their bills. We saw savings in this country evaporate, while at the same damn time, when we have a spike in medical bankruptcies here in these United States, at the same time, the Biden administration funding, NGOs, funding state actors for free hotels, free walking around money, free medical service, free, don't get a job, free. And why we would do that for people that came to this country illegally is insane, and those people should be sent back from whence they came, and ignore the crocodile tears.
Well, let me say this, Charles, that I do not believe that we should create a sanctuary inside this country for those who are violent criminals. We should have a place to send them and place them. We do. Home and jail. But at the same time, America, the great America that you love so much, was founded by criminals. Christopher Columbus, Christian Columbus was his real name. He sailed with some of the worst criminals because they went to the jails to get him sailors because they thought that he was crazy on this expedition. So America was founded, what we call North America, the USA, was founded by criminals. Secondly, do you realize the only reason Texas and Mexico went to war is because General Santa Anna and the Mexicans had outlawed slavery. And they gave Texas 30 days to outlaw slavery or they would go to war. Sam Houston and the boys, yes, General Sam Houston was a slave owner. They went to war with Mexico. And in that war, they stole California. They stole Arizona. They stole Texas from the Mexicans. So to all of my black brothers and sisters, you need to realize how these white folks got Texas, Arizona, and California, because the Mexican people had outlawed slavery, and they went to war with the people of Texas because they wanted to end slavery in Texas. So now let them people come home. The Mexicans are only repatriating back to their homeland. And the same way that the indigenous, quote unquote, so-called Indians gave you all mercy and grace and extended a living space even after you raped, killed, and murdered damn near all of them, they still let you stay here. Why don't you do the same for poor people who are only seeking a better way of life and only coming back to the very land that your ancestors stole? Let's keep it real here, man. So to treat them people like that is evil and it's wrong. The same way we reward Israel, because that's historically their quote-unquote land according to the United Nations in America. Well, God damn it, right here in Texas, Arizona, and California, that's historically the land of the Mexicans.
Okay, so there are a few things, a lot of things you got wrong, but initially, Christopher Columbus had nothing to do with the United States, did not come to the United States, and
well, then why do you lie to American children and tell American children in America's classrooms he discovered America?
Okay.
Why do your people lie and tell that then?
Who are my people?
White people who taught that lie in American schools, and they still teach that lie in American school, and he still has a national holiday to this day. Columbus Day is a national holiday in America to this day, and this man was a raper, a killer, a robber, and a land-baron thief.
To be clear, right, it is of your position that because we kind of maybe possibly share a skin color, although Christopher Columbus was a little bit darker complected, that I am, as a white man, responsible for something he did 600 years ago. That's interesting. It sounds a bit racist.
Oh, I can get deeper than that.
No, but you're not getting deep. That's the thing.
Oh, I can get deeper than that.
But you're not getting deep.
Let me take you a step
I let
further.
you go on for 20 minutes. Let me respond.
I can't take you deeper.
Hey, no, but you're not getting deeper. What you're doing is giving a false analysis, right? You talk about, look, so yes, there were some wonderful, they're not Indians, they're indigenous people that were very welcoming and were betrayed by people that came to this country early on. On the flip
And
side,
who were those people?
Hold on.
Who
hold
were
on.
those people?
Let me finish.
They were white people.
I know you don't want to hear.
White settlers.
Okay. But of
white
course,
criminal settlers.
On the flip side, there were also those that were incredibly violent, and there were several wars.
Who was
there were
violent?
Tons of wars.
Who
There
was
were tons
violent?
of indigenous people.
No, they were not
that
violent.
Were incredibly
they
violent.
were defending their homeland.
They were incredibly
They
violent.
were defending their territory.
I'm not saying they weren't.
And so don't pretend that they were
not saying
violent. That's self-defense.
I'm not pretending. I'm being honest, right? And you had wars, just like you had wars all throughout Europe. Just like you had wars all throughout Europe.
So
and,
is
and
Russia
Asia,
white for invading
and
Ukraine?
Africa, and
Is
throughout-
Russia white for
since-
invading Ukraine?
since the
That's the
beginning
same
of-
thing white
hold
folk
on.
did to the Mexicans
Since the
right here in
beginning-
America.
Since the beginning of man. All you've had is war after war and conquest after conquest, right? But now, just in the last 30 years, we've decided that the only conquests we're going to be concerned about, right? Because you had entire genocides that were intra-indigenous, right? Where one tribe would completely wipe out
We're
others.
talking about America, man.
I am
We're
talking about America. I'm
brother.
actually getting deep. You're just
And the
repeating
only
nonsense.
land bearing
The only
feet in American
conquest-
history is the white man. Let's call it for what it is.
The only conquest that we're worried about is if the skin colors were different.
No,
we're not worried
because
about anything.
The real
So all the
supreme
killing-
skin color in
all the-
America
where is
that
all-
killed people,
where-
slaughtered people,
Hey,
raped their women, killed and murdered
where's-
their children for their land, for their gold, for their resources.
Where's that going
That
on
was
now?
all done by people,
hold on.
yes, of your
okay.
ancestors.
So
You might not like it,
so
but
where-
it's the truth. How in the hell can
See,
white
that's
folks
not
have the
true.
moral authority to
Slavery-
tell Mexican people
slavery-
they can't come to Texas?
Slavery. Well, first of all,
This
I
was
think-
theirs.
I personally think
This was
Mexicans
theirs.
should be allowed to come here, and we should.
You should damn
streamline
right
the
they should be allowed to
process.
come here.
And I've always
because
said
guess
that.
what?
But
They
on the
only
flip
went
side-
to war with Texas
but-
because Texas would not end
But
slavery.
at the end of the day, if you come to this country as a non-citizen, you commit a crime, you should be sent back from whence you came, right? And that is all the people that are being sent back right now. It is people that have committed incredibly violent crimes, right? So you're screaming, yelling your racism.
in the city
because that's
of
what you
Chicago,
do. Okay.
there were 33,000 Ukrainians sent to Chicago.
Okay.
33,000. And some of them have some serious criminal histories.
Okay.
33,000. I don't hear a damn word being talked about that.
Okay, so-
I don't hear a single white conservative talk show, white Republican,
hold on,
or white wing
hold on.
activist taling about the 33,000 Ukrainians
I'm not a
shipped
right
into
wing
Chicago.
guy, but I will tell
and
you.
some of them had serious criminal histories.
Let me be very clear. If a Ukrainian or a Haitian or a Romanian or an English person or an African person or a South American person or anybody, I don't care what their skin color, comes to this country as a non-citizen, commits the crime, they should be sent back, right? You don't want to talk about that. You just want to spew racism, right? You
I'm
don't-
giving you actual facts,
You're not giving
brother.
me any facts. In
Well,
fact,
then where's the
you're
headlines?
lying.
Where are the headlines that no Ukrainian, some of them who have warrants out for their arrest from Russia, okay? Have warrants out for their arrest from
Okay.
Russia. The same way that some Mexicans
Wait,
got warrants out
wait,
for their
wait,
arrest
wait,
from the
wait.
United States
Wait, hold
government
on.
who invaded their land.
You-
Russia
you are-
invaded Ukraine.
you are
So
trying to-
look,
you're
at the end of
trying-
the
hold
day,
on.
should we
Hold on.
deport them?
What
Should
you're
we
trying-
deport the Ukrainians?
What you're trying to do?
No, because
is-
they're white.
Okay, you're trying to draw.
There's no outcry because they're white
you're
immigrants.
Trying
That's
to draw
why.
an equivalence between Ukrainians who there's a warrant from the country that attacked them. You're trying to draw an equivalence to that to people that come to this country and rape children, murder children, kill people, do horrible things. Because I don't care.
You talking about
what-
your ancestors?
I don't care.
Do you mean
what-
your ancestors?
I
Who you
don't
talking
care.
about?
You don't know anything
You
about
mean your
my
ancestors?
You were making
because that's what
assumptions
white
'cause of the
folk
color
did in
of my skin.
California,
Okay.
in
again.
Texas, in Arizona.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so you say Ukraine was
so
invaded,
I'm
yes.
sorry.
But
So-
Texas, California,
you blame,
and Arizona was
you blame
invaded.
white people
That was Mexican
for every
territory.
bad thing that white people did hundreds of years ago.
No, I'm not doing
Do you
that.
blame black people
What
for all
I
the
am
bad
saying
things?
this
Where does slavery
is that
exist
immigration
right now? Where does open
in America,
slavery
you
exist
want to run
in
from
this
America.
country right now?
You want to run
That's
from America.
Africa.
No.
Where are wars and
It
brutal
exists in
violence
America,
and child
too.
soldiers and
Slavery
brutality
still exists in
going
America.
on? That's in Africa.
Ladies and gentlemen,
right?
read
So
the 13th
instead of-
Amendment. And when you read the 13th Amendment, you will see that slavery never ended in America. I challenge all of my brothers and sisters and whites and Hispanics. Read the 13th Amendment. They never ended slavery in America. It says that slavery should not exist in any border or nation within America's sovereign territory unless you've been duly convicted of a crime. So they knew the way to keep slavery was to convict as many black and brown men as possible, and you can still keep them legally in the penal institutions as slaves. Read the 13th Amendment.
Well,
so you can't come at me with that,
I
partner.
I can come at you with
I'll
anything. 'cause
tie
you're
your
just making
damn
stuff
world up with the facts.
You know, the good way to avoid
Wasn't no ending
prison,
slavery in
the
America.
good way to
Slavery's still
avoid
alive in
prison
America.
is don't commit crime. Now, I think we do have an outsized number of people for drug
Prisons
offenses
is
that
for the
shouldn't be
poor.
there. Okay.
Prison ain't for the rich.
Yeah,
It's for the poor.
Prison should be for the people that commit crimes. And deportation.
But it's really for the poor.
And deportation should be for people of all colors for committing crimes. The thing is, you.
Well, go deport the Ukrainians.
Unlike me.
Go deport the
who think
Ukrainians.
that there are good people of all races and bad people of all races, and we should judge people by their individual acts. That's my position, right? Your position is whitey bad. White people today should suffer for stuff.
I gave
Why
the
are
facts.
you lying?
I gave the facts.
Oh, okay.
Look,
okay,
man.
here, who?
Let me ask
so
you
let's
a
talk
question.
about. Let's not run from America.
Let's stay in America.
Who commits 55% of the murders in America? Well, that would be black
I
male
can answer
violent
that.
criminals. Who
I can
commits
answer that.
80%
I can answer
of the
that.
violent robberies in America? It would be black male violent criminals. I don't think you should judge any black man.
I can answer that.
Let me finish. I don't think you should judge any black man who does not commit a crime. I think all of those black men who do commit violent crimes should suffer.
And
every white
one
person that does
of
it
those
too
black
should
men.
suffer too.
And every
but
one of those black men
only blame the
were
white
robbed
man
of
whether
knowledge
they're a
of
murderer
themselves.
or not a murderer.
Every one of those black
Whereas
men
me,
came
I
from a
don't like
people
murderers.
that were set
I don't
upon,
care if they're black.
raped and
I don't
robbed
care
of
if they're
who they
white.
were
I don't care if they're
knowledge-wise.
brown. I don't care if they're Asian.
Let me
I
tell you
don't like
something.
murderers and robbers.
If you don't like
you
Frankenstein,
don't like white people.
If you don't like the Frankenstein that you see in the black community,
let's see this.
remember who Dr. Frankenstein was. Yes, there's some Frankensteins in the black community, but let's not forget who Dr. Frankenstein
was.
Because we talk
Frankenstein.
about Dr. Frankenstein.
Maybe you should consider.
Hello,
you know, there's
you Dr. Frankenstein.
people that
your
don't.
ancestor, Dr. Frankenstein.
Okay. You want to know a fact? People that don't read books.
Oh, no,
I
no,
include
no.
you as
Let me
one of
tell
those
you
people.
something.
Referred to
We don't wanna
Frankenstein's
talk about-
monster as Frankenstein.
See, Frankenstein, the monster,
because you never read a book.
was
Frankenstein
made
is
that
not
way
the
by
monster.
Dr. Frankenstein.
Okay,
Frankenstein, the monster, was made that way
Okay.
by Dr. Frankenstein.
Okay, again,
and so black
I'm gonna
folks
make it
became a
simple.
monster in their own community.
I'm gonna- yeah.
But who was Dr. Frankenstein in our heads?
Oh.
Who was Dr. Frankenstein in our minds?
Oh,
Who taught us that we were in words? Who taught us that we were 3/5 of a human being? And that we were 1/5 away from an animal.
I seem
Who
to
taught us
understand
in your Supreme Court that we had no rights as human beings in this country?
Just so I can
So
understand-
don't tell me that you all didn't make us Dr. Frankenstein.
That you all.
made criminals
You
by
all.
robbing us of a knowledge of ourselves.
First of all, I as a criminal defense attorney, have fought for people charged with criminal misdemeanor. You just stand out
So
there
let
and
me tell you
scream and
something,
cry.
man. Let me
But
tell you
let me
something,
finish.
brother.
No, you've screamed and yelled over me and interrupted
Let
me a dozen
them
times.
people come home.
So is it let me just tell. So your position is every black man that commits a violent crime only does it because of whitey, and they shouldn't be punished for it?
I didn't say that.
That's exactly what you said.
I did not say
Why
that.
do you say stuff and then lie
I didn't
about
say
it?
that. See,
Okay?
the problem is, here's what I'm saying.
What are you saying?
If we really go to the root of the problem, in America,
whitey.
In America,
It's whitey.
In America, black men that commit acts of self-hatred on themselves and members of their own community.
Right.
You can trace that all the way back. That self-hate.
It's whitey's fault.
That self-hate to a mindset that taught black men and women that we were inferior because we were black, that we were nothing because we were black, and that we should hate ourselves for the darkness of our skin,
I would
the broadness of our
argue
nose, and the thickness of
conversely,
our lips.
I
Who
would
told us to
argue
hate ourselves?
that it's people like
in a
you,
community of self-hate,
false
you're going to have a lot of
activists
crime.
like you that instead of
In
talking
the
about
community of
personal
self-hate, you'll
responsibility,
have a lot of crime.
that you
But
justify
who taught us
violence
to hate
and you
ourselves?
encourage violence, and your position actually leads to an incredible
Chicanos,
amount of suffering,
Latinos,
incredible amount of suffering
Mexicans.
for black Americans and people of color
Stand
that are being
up and
victimized
keep fighting
by
for your
criminals
people.
that liars like you are
The
saying, oh
very
no,
people
it's
that
Whitey's
want you to
fault
go
you were
home
murdered by this
stole
guy.
your home.
No, what we should be talking about is we should have the same standards for everybody,
How about
irrespective of
we ask
race,
the
and if
Indians
you
who should
commit
go?
a crime,
How
you
about we
should
ask
leave.
the Indians who should go?
I know, you want to talk about
Yeah,
yesterday.
you white folks will
you
be
don't
on
want to
boats
talk
tomorrow.
about day.
Why
See,
don't we ask the
what
Indians who
you
should
do-
stay and who go?
Okay. Why don't
No, don't run from that.
No, I'm not
Why
running
the
from
Indians
it.
should not set the immigration
what
policy.
you want to do is you
Let
want
the Indians set the immigration
you
policy.
want to revision history.
No,
that every
I wanna
conquest
tell
and
the
every
truth about
war,
history.
every conquest and every war should be ignored unless it was white people that won. Unless white people won, then we need to give it all up.
Let's go
right?
to
but right
Giacomo.
now, in this world,
Let's go to the
where
Apache.
there was
Let's go to the
violence and
Seminole.
slavery and poverty,
Let's go to the
is
Arapaho
not
and
here.
Navajo.
This
and
is
let them set America's immigration
America
policy.
is the
After all,
least racist
this is their
nation.
land, not you
America is
folks.
the least racist nation. It's the safest country. It's the best
The
country.
least racist
and
nation.
all you want to do
The
is
least
destroy
racist
it.
nation.
It absolutely is.
And
In
you
the
say that
world
with a straight
today,
face.
in the world today,
you say that with
it
a
is
straight
the
face.
least. There's
The
a
least
reason.
racist
There is
nation.
a reason people of all
The
colors
least racist
fight
nation.
to get to this country.
Look at that shit. With a straight face, you say it. Ladies and gentlemen of the brown community, our Latino brothers and sisters, our Hispanic brothers and sisters, Mexicans, Chicanos, you need to unite and surround each other and unify. And I would call on you to link up with your black brothers and sisters in America, because we have more power together than you have separated. What is happening right now with this immigration thing is wrong. Taking the violent criminals, sending them home, that's one thing. But they know and they're planning to wrap up innocent little young men and women with their mothers and fathers who've been there sometimes 25 and 30 years and send them back to the country of origin. That's not fair and it's not right.
I think it's very clear that this country has a problem with sanctuary cities and allowing violent criminals to stay. I also think this country needs to have an honest conversation about the fact that they allowed so many people to come in this country and perform cheap, near slave labor at depressed wages that has exploited immigrants and not given them a pathway to citizenship. I think we absolutely need a pathway to citizenship for many millions of people here unlawfully, but all this whining and crying and talking about whitey and blaming white people for people committing crimes just because they had a different complexion is nonsense. And people that aren't citizens that come to this country and commit violent crimes, they need to be deported. And people that come to this country or are citizens of this country that commit violent crimes, I don't care what race they are. I don't care if they're white, black, brown, anything. I don't like violent criminals, right? And I don't justify violent criminals by blaming stuff that happened 500 years ago. Let's hold criminals accountable and let's let other people live their damn lives safely.
That's it for the Face Off on Fox Soul. We'll catch you next time.